Good morning and cheers, my AKAPADers. To be quite honest, I don't know the path of this video. We're almost like 2 weeks into shooting this video. There's different times like that I shot different segments. There's different approaches I had to, talking to you guys about Miami Mice, the comic, Cobalt 60, and the creators. To me, this is still like of two minds. Mark BODE and his father, Von BODE. Von BODE passes away, and the son effectively takes over the family business. And if you guys are new here, on Fridays, we focus on independent comic books, black and white comic books, time-wise, mid-80s all the way into the 2000s. Now, it can be a mainstream comic, excuse me, that is independent in spirit. And we will touch on that. We do have a Marvel comic book coming that I feel like is one of the best independent comics of the day, of that day. So, who's Mark BODE? So, Mark BODE is the create, like the mind. And we have Larry Todd here coming in, writing. But BODE here shook my mind when I was a young kid. A friend of mine, a neighborhood friend, actually my best friend at the time, he gets this book for his birthday, and it like rocks my world. I get jealous instantly. And one of his relatives, like they say, but yeah, one of his relatives tells the story of how they got Cobalt 60. Local shopping mall, Deptford Mall, New Jersey, Walden Books. At that point, I beg my parents. I beg them. Like, you have to take me to buy this book. And I give my parents credit. I mean, look, it was $8. Walden Books had it. My parents didn't really flip through it. Or maybe if they did, they kind of gave it this. And just saw, there was some extreme action. No boobies, no blood. So it gets to pass. And then I later decide to, reverse engineer this character. Because I don't know enough about him. So I buy this. I buy Cobalt 60, Book 3, by Tundra Press. Kevin Eastman of Turtles fame. This is his company. We get some sweet pinups here in the back, too. James O'Barr. Look, Rick Veitch. Really nice stuff. But then I find out... that... I was under the impression that, Book 3 ran into Book 4 here. Or, this is... And there's a Book 4... But I'm thinking this is like a reskinned Book 4. I was just trying to figure it out. There's 4 separate volumes that are staple bound. And then there's this collected edition. Now, there's 1 or 2 articles out there on the interwebs that I have bookmarked that I think catch me up on this. Because this might be the Epic Illustrated issues. And then later... it gets pretty much the large format or magazine presentation. So that's my path. And so when I'm dollar book diving, and I see something like Miami Mice, and you crack it open and you see this is Mark BODE drawing himself as Cobalt 60. This is the book for you. But from that point, even when I purchased this, I don't know how many issues this ran. It's not many, right? Rip-off press. This effectively runs for 4 issues, and that's it. What we have here is a complete deconstruction of the parody era. So there's a little bit of a black and white parody era in American comics. Now, there's comics and then there's comics. Let me just we'll take this real quick, right? We just did this for more scrap paper. See, you have comics. Okay? Now, comics, in my view, means one thing. And we were actually debating this on Twitter. I freaking love it. We did the video on it too. Comics. This era is this. And there's a reason why we have the X. And one of those reasons is the commentary of the commercial world, which we see here in this Mickey Mouse poster. This is funny. Like this, a lot of people come at me as if there's no foundation on my takes and what I say, and I always seek out the people who I think or believe that put the work in to know more about what's in front of their face. To me, this is not just a parody book from the golden age of black and white comic book parodies. This is a time capsule. And it's of a time that I don't know, like we may never get this back. And it's a little bit depressing. But let's just flip through and enjoy Mark BODE giving us Parmesan cheese that doubles as cocaine. We have Rocket and, oh my God, I forget their names. The names of these, and Stubby, it's Rocket and Stubby. The names of our Miami mice, they don't really appear at all in this book. And you guys know how frustrated I get when we don't tag characters. And we have some of these like BODE tropes. Like we see here in the opening page, we have the furniture that runs along the panel, and he wraps the panel around the contour of the furniture and gives us like a little bit of detail along the way. Even the little string, you know, and you can hear that sound that string makes when you click the light. So he does this thing where he rounds the panel corners and then he contours the panels with a negative space. And we get that over here when they're like ripping on the boat. And this is such a nice spread page because some of it's not necessary. Meaning, you know, like you're negative contouring the seagull's wings. And you kind of want to say it pulls the eye in this direction. But then as we read it and we focus on the boat, because, you know, the two mice, they're out to crack down on that Parmesan cheese. I like the effect with the jets of the water jets here and how that kind of goes into the frame or negative space. It's very unique, and he is fearless with the pen and paper. The details of this city shot, the girls, the hookers, the boobies. He's drawing a car, drawing tires. Look, we have a little bit of a Volkswagen there. Guys giving the finger. And they're just, and this effectively, it's a bad drug deal. Another gang comes in. So it's mice killing mice over Parmesan cheese. The detective cat comes in. I love that their boss is a detective cat. Do we want to say, are we parodying Fritz the Cat, like within, right? Like, is this just like it's a parody of a parody? I don't know, but we do have more emphasis on that Mickey Mouse poster. Now, I shot an explanation of this Mickey Mouse poster here too with bullet holes in it, and it's not just because it's mouse on mouse. I may play that. I don't know what I'm doing in post because I have so many different versions of this video already. So I might cut to it, I may not. This might just be the video too. But I do feel like it's a video on its own. The other technique that BODE does here that I absolutely love is he gives us these black backgrounds. And there's no order, there's no visible process, there's no logic to it. The only thing I can think of is it's like black background, to show off what I'm not drawing. So we need to make things pop. Black background, make things pop, helps me help the audience focus on things. Because even here, like, it's daytime, right? Daytime. But then, here we go. There he is. Hey, Ratfink. Black background. Emphasis, right? Like, there's no logic to it. Now, maybe if I mull through all 4 issues, I can dissect it a little bit better, but I doubt it. But he is fearless. And when I say fearless, like the way how, again, he draws in the car, frames the window, draws the back seat, gives us a reflection. These are the details we love. I love here the smoke, right? Or like kind of like the exhaust. And it's just like, it's not cross-hatching, but he's layering the line work to show us like the form of the cloud. Here too, you can almost like smell this phone pole here. Like, it's that thick splintery wood that, like, if you rubbed your hand on it, you would get a couple of them poking. I mean, it's like this here. I mean, it really is. Like, there's nothing like this right now. There's no one out there doing it quite this way, but you can, like, you smell the environment from these, like, details. And again, fearless. Look at him draw these vehicles. They're not perfect. This is not quite there. This has problems, but it's in this cartoony world. We accept it. This shot, though, is, and I assume, I don't even know what style of car this is, but I just want to say, I feel like some of the rich people, a couple neighborhoods away from where I grew up as a kid, had this car just from the headlights alone. Yeah, but essentially it's Ratfink. It's we have a Ratfink. We have a guy trying to get the drugs. He's caught up in the mess, and then we have Rocket and Stubo. Yeah, pretty much. And if you watch, there's a movie right now on Netflix called Havoc that I absolutely loved. Havoc does the modern trope of gunfight in the nightclub. Thanks, John Wick. But they do it here first. But everything culminates in, again, we have one gang like trying to track down more drugs. Right here, they're talking to the hooker. The hooker knows where there's drugs. He gets wasted. And then, like they start shooting up the club, which is in this case a disco. The girl peels off again, too. Like, look how nice we draw the car. The palm trees, look, the rocks, the side of the building. It's just there. It really is. And it's a fun read. We have a little bit of trouble tracking the characters because this is black and white. But again, too, like cops show up. Freeze, Miami Mice, and then it's like gangs on gangs, and then we have like a Turtles reference here, so we're parody, like again, it's a parody within a parody. It's insane, but it's full gunfight, black backgrounds, people are just getting wasted, bodies are piling up, and then it's just like, hey, well, at least maybe the streets will be free of designer cheese. And like that's like, but again, we're only like 16 pages in. Like this is what we want from this comic, from the cover, from here. There was a side of me that was thinking, if this was in color, like would I experience a different? Because I love how the cover here is colored. I really do. But then I kind of think back to the Turtle days, going back to Kevin Eastman. I like that those first 4 issues were black and white covers, just with different tones. Aren't like there was like red, blue, green. I think blue again, right? There's like 2 blue. It's because there is a little bit of a higher technique to separate your characters just by drawing. And you have to have them either like overly designed or designed as if they were meant for animation. It doesn't mean they have to look like they were meant for animation, but they have to be designed as such. Yes, there's techniques for both. But we're also of a young mind, of a young creator. So does some of this, like, again, it's just a lot of fun knowing that, like, he starts here, and then we kind of go back to Cobalt 60. Like, we cycle back to Cobalt 60 to how, like, right, like, easily, like, everything here is easily discernible, and you know it is with or without color because of the tagging or the design work. And I think design is an element that you kind of have to bake into the dough. But we have Scarface here, swings a dud. So this is his Scarface parody. And AKAPADers, and guys, look at these drapes, look at these windows, look at the molding on these frames, look at his giant chair. AKAPADers, I love this. Look, he does the negative silhouette, the negative contour here, even with just the desk. But yeah, he's snorting that designer Parmesan cheese. People come up to buy the drugs. What do you guys want? Puff, puff, puff. He is, dude, look, I love the way how he draws, like, these guys being high and just out of their minds. But he's, like, shoving the cheese up his nose. Everyone shows up to kill him. And we get the end of the movie, essentially. And AKAPAD, I was in, like, a theater in, like, I'm trying to think of what town in Jersey. But they did this, like, re-release of Scarface. And I'm talking maybe, like, 20 years ago. And it was right when that movie, like, it caught back. Meaning, it got merchandise, it got t-shirts. Mezco had those amazing Scarface action figures. Really cool stuff. And you thought it was just going to go away. And ever since the Scarface kind of, like, re-emerged into the American lexicon, where, like, literally right now you can go to Target and buy a Scarface t-shirt, it never went away. And the amazing thing is that this, got some coffee on our comic, this predates all of that. And I love it for that reason. But yeah, we see, like, they're just trying to hijack a shipment here. Look, guys, the water fountain itself is that negative contour for the panel border. But yeah, and this, dude, look at this guy just getting zonked in the head. I love that it's like a punch sound effect. And but he's just getting his head blown right off. There we go. And this is like the stuff. If you were a kid walking home from the comic shop during this time, and this is what, like, you went home with, like, you would stop, sit down on the side of the road. Maybe you were near, like, a convenience store, 7, but you would get, like, a Slurpee and just, like, go to these pages with the guns and the belts and the grenades and the blasting. And you would just, like, stare at it. But look, they destroy the mansion. And I love the way how he draws smoke and the explosions. Because it's no cross-hatching. He's just layering line thickness and distance. And he does it in such an effective way. Mark BODE, in my eyes, is an illustrator. Like, he just, like, he draws the assignment. And even on Twitter, too, recently, like, I was having a discussion about comic book artist versus comic book illustrator. An illustrator nails the assignment, and you need an illustrator to draw a mansion. You need an illustrator to draw, your crime Parmesan dealing warlord, drug lord, drowning in a fountain. Like, like, look at the steps, too. Like, he nails that vanishing point. Given it's easy with steps, but it doesn't matter. But, like, like, the illustration side of this is you have a responsibility to nail it. And then look, Stubo Rocket. So this is really, like, our character tags, by the way. But, and look, you can tell, you can see the greasy hair, the greasy Jerry curl. Like, really cool stuff. Look, he's got that pump handle, shotgun, Chief, aka Fritz the Cat. The Streets of Paco. So he gives us a fully designed experience. This is, like, fun. This is just like a cockroach trying to smuggle drugs. But he gives us, like, a cover to cover experience. It's all artwork, no ads. Like, it's immersive and it's awesome for it. I don't know, AKAPAD, like, I really just dug this. And again, to me, this is like a master illustrator. Like, and then knowing he kind of goes from like Miami Mice into Cobalt 60, and then Cobalt 60 really becomes this like opus. And I'm slow in getting the other parts of this, so I can bring it all to you guys, because I feel like that's like a month's worth of Friday content alone that would never happen. But I would break up those episodes because I would want to do the artwork, I would want to do the story, and then I would want to do like the individual parts of it. AK Patters, TGIF. I love you guys.